after 35, 40 years, somebody from our area has become a sales servant.
The 10,000 questions program for prelims, there are 10,000 questions to be done. So how many did you complete? That I want to ask.
Okay, I don't have a an exact number, but I think around 75 to 80% was something which I tried to do. So no social media. I think my Facebook was deactivated. I installed Instagram after selection.
So
Lakshmikant, no. Between prelims and mains, no.
that's nice.
Spectrum, yes. Because I wrote like some 900 to 1,000 question in that particular period. So my target was actually 1,400 question to 1,500 questions, but then it bought this R.D. Dixit, and I think I read it for 2 days. I thought I should just burn the book. Human geography is something which is totally underrated.
So hello everybody. Today I have with me Vijay Raghav Goyal, who has got rank 229 this year, and he will be getting probably the IPS and probably a cadre very close to Delhi. So Vijay, how does it feel in the fifth attempt? You're getting into the IPS. How does it feel? How was the first feeling after getting selected?
It was relaxing, to be honest. I mean, I was with my friends at that particular point, and it was kind of very relaxing. I mean, it's all done now. All the hard work which I've done in last, let's say, 5 years, all the uh, help which my friends have also given me, family has also given me, all that paid off. So it was kind of very soothing feeling, to be honest.
Uh, Vijay, as you told me, you come from a smallest town in Jodhpur. Like now it's a separate district, Balotra. So
It was
like
in Badmer, although at
okay,
that
it
point.
was in Badmir. So how does it like? I don't see many people coming from that place and getting into the IPS. It must have been a big thing over there when you got a rank and then you went to your city. How was the celebration? How did you take it when so many people wanting to
Uh-huh.
take a glimpse of you? How did it feel?
Uh, See, for me, it was kind of a very simple thing. I mean, I've just cleared an exam. And when I reached to my hometown, there was a celebration. And it felt initially, it felt a lot awkward also because I'm not used to any kind of such celebrations. And then I realized that, okay, this is something which I might not be able to understand it fully, that what I have achieved. But the people who are there, they are able to understand that how bigger thing this is, at least for the hometown area. Because then they told me that it's been like 40 years or 35 to 40 years after 35, 40 years, somebody from our area has become a sales servant. So obviously it was a big deal for them, and I was happy for for the people around there. I mean, everybody was cherishing at that particular point, so it felt very good. So yeah, that was the thing.
I remember last year Ashish got into the IPS. He was also from Badmir. He was a friend, and like I saw the pictures that he shared. So from Badmer, like place generally only asked in UPSC once, where they're asking the Desert National Park is spread across two districts, which are those. So then we hear about Badmer, or sometimes there are some floods there, which is a very rare occurrence. And also, so for people there, any achievement coming from their area, I understand that it is a great motivation for the upcoming generation.
Hmm.
So that must have been a great thing. Uh, I want to discuss everything about the exam that you did.
Sure.
Beginning a little bit from your background so that people can relate, like where do you come from? What kind of an education have you gotten in the beginning, in school and college? So tell me a little bit about your background.
Sure. So, see, initial my primary, secondary schooling have been into Balotra only. So it's a small town,
Mhm.
nothing fancy here. Then I plan to do IIT J. So I went into IIT Delhi in 2013.
Mhm.
Sorry, in 2014.
Mhm.
And then onwards, from 2018, I'm into the UPSC, and this was my fifth attempt. About There's a small thing which I will like to share here,
Mhm.
that in my school time, I never thought that I will be going into IIT, and I never thought that I will be going into UPSC. Rather, there was a point when I used to hate these two things only, because there is a there is a saying that you have to study for like 18 hours a day to get into IIT, and 18 hours a day to get into IAS or UPSC civil services. And this was something which I told myself, this it's not possible. At least it's not possible for me. So I'm never going to make this as my goal. And coincidentally, these are the two areas where I've been into. So it's ironic in that sense. Again, when I was in IIT, there was a lot of my friends who were also preparing for UPSC, and from there on onwards, I got to know that okay, this is also a very exciting field, and we can try this thing out. So in my fourth year only, I made a decision that I will be preparing for civil services. So from 2018 onwards, it was my fifth attempt, and fifth attempt I'm getting some service now.
Uh, you're talking about IIT Delhi. So there is something about IIT Delhi. Every year there are probably more than 15 IITs now, and there are
Mhm.
probably the eight like classic cult IITs that are there. Out of all of them, something about IIT Delhi that makes it different in terms of civil services. I discussed it with the ex DGP of Uttarakhand. He was a IIT Delhi graduate, 1988
Mhm.
batch. So since then, like he told me that several of his batchmates, I think from mechanical, got into the IIT, got into the IES at that time and IPS at that time. So what is different in IIT Delhi? Can you tell me, like, why is it so that not from IIT Bombay or Kanpur or Madras, but from IIT Delhi
Mhm.
you get so many people in the civil services?
See, I have a little different viewpoint here. I mean, everybody can have their own viewpoint. I don't think that it is IIT Delhi which is doing anything here. See, if I generalize it, I mean, it is said that a lot of IITians go into civil services. There's not even a single thing which IT teaches us academically which is useful in civil services. So we talk about technology there, and it's all core technological things, and those are never in the syllabus of UPSC. So academically, it's not going to help in any way. But there is one thing that because we have been through the IIT JEE examination in our 12th plus two portion. So we have one confidence that, okay, we have already been into a competitive exam and we have cleared it. And we know ourselves that we are nothing different from than any other person out there. To be honest, if you meet any IITian, you won't be able to recognize that person as an IITian until unless the person says that he is an IITian. So, so idea was simple that if we are able to do hard work, then we will be able to succeed. That is a simple thing out there, and that confidence comes up, and that's why IITians are, I think, more patient in that manner. They can give three attempts, four attempts uh, to clear the exam, and then that's how they do it. Regarding IIT Delhi, there might be one thing that because Delhi is also a hub of coaching centers, and because the UPSC itself is in Delhi, so I think awareness among the IIT Delhi people is more compared to other IITs. That might be a reason why IIT Delhi people are featuring more into the service. But other than that, I don't think there is any specific IIT Delhi reason out there.
So you also talked about like you fearing like studying for 18 hours a day. So last year when you enrolled into this program that we are having for mains, you wrote
Mhm.
27 tests in total. I just counted, and 12 of them were between prelims and mains, and rest of them were before prelims. So how many
Mhm.
hours did you study actually in that last year before the fifth attempt?
See, I don't think I have studied on a regular basis. On an average, I don't think I have studied more than 9 hours.
Mhm,
Okay. And I don't think it is even possible to go over 10 hours on a regular basis
mhm.
to study in that way. So I think 8, 9, 10 hours was something which I used to target and that I was able to achieve in that particular portion. And if we are able to do that thing, trust me, all the exams, all these test papers and all the static portion which we need to read, all the newspapers, this all can be covered up if we are able to give a sitting of 9 to 10 hours.
Mhm. So after like you failed the 2022 prelims, right? Before that you had appeared couple of times in the mains, but fourth attempt you failed prelims. How did it feel? And then like how did you go about it after that? Like that must have been a major setback. Fourth attempt,
Yes.
you're already from IIT Delhi, you're probably staying in your hometown, I suppose. And,
Yes.
and
Yes.
like how did it feel after that? You must have been shattered. Did you think that you would be able to make it or not? Like how what did you do after that? There are many people who actually just want to add that many people who have gone through the same process, like a major debacle in prelims or mains in their third or fourth attempt takes away everything from them. So how did you
Mhm.
react after that? You seem like a calm person, like, but how was your reaction? How did you do after that?
Yes. So the thing was, see, obviously it was a shattering moment. But then I knew one thing. that prelims is the most unexpected and most unpredictable portion of this whole examination. A person, I mean, even today, now I'm selected. If I give prelims now, there's a high possibility that I may not clear it. So I knew that if something wrong is going to happen, that then that will happen in prelims only. So this was one thing. Second, I knew that I used to keep a track of my own performance. So I can see that across the years I'm performing better. And now prelims is now I'm failing prelims. So I just told to myself that okay, this is a one-time failure, and the day might not be mine. Obviously, my friends and my family, they supported me a lot on this particular thing. And so just I told to myself, no worries. Sometimes bad things happen, and just move on. And so it took me like 1.5 months to really move on from that particular portion. But afterwards, I just told to myself that prelims is unpredictable. It happens. I have more chances now, so I'll just go with them.
So just after prelims, I think I remember you contacting and like we're discussing how you can go about the next year. And you were one of the few people who said that I would work hard, and you actually did. You did the like we started the 10,000 questions program. It was for the first time, I suppose, at that point. And then you also enrolled in the mains thing, the Super 50 that there we were doing 40 tests. You wrote 27 out of them. So like why did you trust such a small initiative? I just want to ask that. There are major players there, and like why did you, sitting in probably in your hometown, why did you trust such a small initiative on Telegram? What drove you there, and how was your experience? I want to just know about that.
Right. So, first thing about trusting a small initiative. See, trust is a very difficult thing to have. Now, when I see the other big institutes, these papers, I can see one thing that okay, they already have a lot of subscriber base. A lot of students are already subscribing to them. So even if they don't make enough hard work, then also they will be able to succeed in their own enterprise. Now, if there is a small different thing coming out, then the person has to work hard. I mean, the person has to make something different so that people start to take his product. So this was one thing which gave me which I considered that okay, I can give this particular gentleman, you being Vikas Tayal, a chance that I can take this thing, and obviously he's going to work hard because now he's coming out into new field. So this was first thing. Second, when I saw your brochure, I mean what you are providing us, in that thing I had a problem that I used to read only my own source books, simple one or two textbooks and my notes. I wanted to spread out. I wanted to take information from other areas also. But then it's not possible for me to read a lot of books. So what help with this program was giving me is that this program was taking questions from other UPSC related examinations, and also other books from where UPSC can frame questions. So for me, this was a package where I can get information out of other areas, which can do the value addition to my own source books, own notes, and own source books. So for me, this was a very crafted project, crafty package which suits to my own needs. So that's why I thought I should give it a chance. And
Regarding the
again,
sorry to cut
yeah,
you.
again, living at hometown. I mean, you also was talking about that. See, uh, it's easy for me to live in hometown. So compared to living in any other area, it's very easy life here, and so I get a better mental framework, the peace which I find here. That's more compared to what I get in Delhi or any other area. So that's why I just live in my hometown. I don't think you have to go through that particular set pattern that you have to live in one particular area and you have to go to one particular coaching or you have to read one particular source to clear the exam. No, whatever suits you should be the way. So that's why I live in my hometown.
That's great. I think when I see people in the academies, generally like what we see on the billboards, people toppers. So generally these are the people who have been in Delhi and they are in touch with the coaching institutes and then they get selected. But when you go to the academies, you find that probably more than half of the people are coming from like different parts of India. probably many of them have not taken any formal guidance or anything. Like some of them at least, not many of them at
Mm.
least. Then, like not from the major institutes, or probably they've taken guidance
Mm.
from the seniors, or they've seen things on YouTube, and then they are doing it. And that's a really good, like I think that's a very good thing for the democracy and for the social mobility that we want to provide. They want to, like, as a country, we want to provide to the civil services. So my question again would be the 10,000 questions program for prelims. Uh, there are 10,000 questions to be done. So how many did you complete? That I want to ask.
Okay. I don't have a I don't have an exact number, but I think around 75 to 80% was something which I tried to do. See, my idea was that I knew that I won't be able to do 10,000 on.
Mm-hmm.
So the areas in which I was weak,
Mm-hmm.
I used to target those areas. So history was one area where I used to get less marks. So I used to target that. Environment was another area where I used to get less marks. I used to target those areas. So I mean, and economy was something which I did not do properly, because in economy I was very comfortable. Again, in polity also I was very comfortable. So these were the two areas where I did not used to do to attempt much. So in that way, some 70 to 80% I completed.
Since prelims is very close now, based on your experience, this was your fifth attempt. You cleared three of them.
Hmm.
Couple of like at the fourth attempt, I believe you like didn't get into the mains list because of just a few marks. And
Yes, sir.
based on your experience, what do you think is important for clearing prelims?
See, if I tell you my story, in general, out of 5 attempts, 2 times I've cleared for the forest examination. And the 3 times I've either cleared or missed out by less than 4 marks. So what I realize is that you have to be you have to be very cautious, or you have to be very careful on that particular day. See, many of the people will be missing out on prelims by just 4 5 marks, which what it turns out to be like 2 to 3 questions. So 2 to 3 questions you can do silly mistake any day. So basically, if you are able to have a calmness in your mind on that particular day, that everything is okay, I'm good, and if you have this mindset in that particular time, then you will be able to do those 2 3 questions properly on that particular pressure situation, and you will be into the service, into the mains period. For example, in this 2023 prelims, when I saw the paper first, I realized that okay, the this elimination kind of thing, that is gone. So all there is one pair, two pair kind of questions, and there's no elimination now. I was actually very happy at that particular point. I knew that I'm going to get less marks. I used to get some 100 marks when I used to 100, when I used to do these papers. I knew that my score won't be more than 80 in this particular paper. But I knew that 80 marks is also something which people will be, which is above the cutoff, because everybody is going to score less marks here. And that brought a lot of calmness into my mind,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I scored very good. I mean, my I don't know my marks yet, but it's somewhere near 9. It's somewhere 90 plus.
Mm-hmm.
So I think calmness is something which is required, and that calmness you can get only via two things. One, you have to practice more and more. You have to practice in that particular pressure situation. You have to practice for 2 hours with an OMR sheet. Many people just mark ticks. They don't use OMR sheet with them in while performing the prelims mock test. You have to use an OMR sheet also. And second, on that particular day, you have to be, I mean, well rested. You have to take a light breakfast. So I think these two things can do wonders.
In fact, just another day, somebody was asking me that every time, like in the last few attempts that she had given, she was scoring well in the mocks, but she was not able to perform well because of the pressure that was she was feeling. So my advice was that why don't you attempt a full mock every day at 9 within those 2 hours? If you do that for maybe 20 days, then probably you will just think the same thing on the exam day as well, that okay, it's just a
Mhm.
paper that I've been doing it for 20 days. So that will give them a lot of calmness, and that's very important, particularly in the CSAT paper. So regarding CSAT, although you are a IIT Delhi graduate,
Mhm.
how difficult did you find the 23 CSAT paper?
Right. So 23, she said, yes, it was difficult one. See, I have a very different theory when it comes to CSAT. And I will really like everybody who is listening to it to just do it, just perform it on their own. They will also find the same thing. See, in CSAT, there are 80 questions. Out of those 80 questions, there will be 25 to 27 questions which are easy. The problem is that we won't be able to find those easy questions. Many people, what they do, they will only do the passages, or some people will only do the mathematics and reasoning area. They will just skip out the passage. But the problem is that there are easy questions in mathematics also. There are easy questions in passage also. And if you are skipping those easy questions, then you won't be able to clear it up. In this paper also, there were a lot of questions, at least 25 to 28 questions, which were easy enough to do up in 2 to 3 minutes. If you are able to target those easy questions, you will be able to clear out the CSAT. Many people who have not able to clear out the CSAT, many times what they do, they will give much time to, they will give like 10 to 15 minutes to a single difficult question. And then it builds up the pressure. Now they will be rushing into the easy questions, and then they will do silly mistakes. So attempting the paper properly, attempting all the 80 questions properly, I think that is the best way to do CSAT. Because from knowledge point of view, see, it is 10th level, 10th standard paper, as UPSC itself says. So let's not go into this idea that the people who are giving this exam, they don't have that caliber to clear it out. Everybody has the caliber. It's an IQ test. Everybody has that much basic IQ. Just ensure that you know how to attempt the CSAT paper. In that case, they will be able to solve it.
I think you're right when you say that there are 27, 30 questions. At least even in the 2023 CSAT paper, there were definitely 25 to 30 questions which were actually below 10th level. So those could have been like done if people do them first and then like try and do the rest of them. Then probably it is a great advice, I would say. I will share a clip of it. Like talking about GS mains, since like you had already written mains twice. Your score like this year, geography optional is something that has like gotten you this rank, I would say, which is 312 marks, which is tremendous. But we'll discuss GS first. You had already given 2 mains, and this year you wanted to improve. Obviously, you wanted to like get a rank, and you wanted to do everything that was needed. There are 2 papers, particularly GS 1 and 3, that there where everybody like scored really low. But comparatively, because of the like, if you just calculate how much the scaling has been, 97 is a very good score. Like even the top 10, they are also not, like some of them are also not getting 97. GS1 you got 97, GS4 104, GS3 92 is a really good score, 108 being the highest, and 117 in GS4. So I would like to like go paper by paper, and would like to ask what you did for the same, right? What sources that you followed and everything, right? So regarding GS1, since you have scored well, like one of the highest, and this paper has been has been a troublemaker this year. So what did you actually do for preparing for it? And secondly, like everybody recommends, GS paper 1 is also about maps. When you make many maps, then it becomes your answers become different. So first of all, like tell me about the sources that you followed, particularly for society part, since you have geography optional, so I wouldn't ask that. And particularly for post-independence, world history, and your art and culture. What did you actually do?
See, about the sources, again, I don't have much sources. I don't feel that we have to go into a different kind of sources. So I used to keep things very simple. In society, I had my own notes. There was a Indian society NCRT, I think 12th or 11th class NCRT, which I used to follow. Apart from that, in society, what I realized that I cannot have one particular source, one particular big book which I can refer to. So what I used to do is I used to pick some papers of society, like 2 to 3 papers of society. So which gives me what, some 40 to 60 questions. And I used to go through all those 40, 60 questions. And I realized that these are the main themes on which society questions can come out. So for example, let's say there will be person with disability, or there will be elderlies. So these were some areas on which I did not have enough material. But now I realize that okay, these are the topics which I have to prepare. So then I used to go into internet, make my own notes of this particular thing, and I used to keep that. So in society, what I did is I had my own notes. That was the biggest source for me. No particular book. Regarding post-independence, again, I mean, there are lots of compilations which we can find on internet. So even I did my coaching with a reputed institute. So they also provided me a post-independent book. So that particular one book I used to follow.
Yellow book
It
you're
was a
talking.
very simple one. There was,
The
sorry, yeah,
yellow
yes, the
book
yellow
you're
book.
talking about.
So
Okay.
the yes, so the yellow book of post-independence, I did that one only. Again with world history, again the yellow book of world history was enough for me. And also obviously world history was something which I discounted. So I read only like, I gave like 4 to 5 days maximum in 6 months preceding the prelims, preceding the mains,
Mhm.
because again not much questions comes out of it. So again from art and culture, see, art and culture was something which was my strong suit. See why? Because I was very fearful in prelims, and in prelims, art and culture is something which I thought that it is some area where if I'm able to score better, then I will be getting an edge. So Nitin Singhania book was something which I read very religiously. Again, there is a book, Poonam Dalal Daya, for medieval and ancient and medieval history. That book also I read very religiously. So because of those two books, my history, the art and culture and medieval history, that was something which I was very comfortable into. So, and then there is one more thing which I will like to add. See, when these kind of questions comes up, my aim was that if I can write some kind of example in every point, and we all have examples around us. It's just that it should click into our mind. So when I used to write mains, when I used to do all the other practices, I used to think if I can add one or two examples. I think which I also added into in this GS1, and I think which has reaped some marks.
So did you actually have like the examples? Did you collect them from some compilations, or was there a sheet that you were making from the newspaper on a regular basis? What sort of examples did you collect, and from where did you? What was your source of examples and data and everything else?
Mhm. See, I try to do this thing that I will get data from newspapers. I also try to get data from some compilations and from some sheets. It sounds good. It doesn't work, at
Hmm.
least for me. So what I did is that when I used to make notes, sometimes it used to click up that naturally I need a data here. For example, if I'm making notes about health, it clicks that I need to have some data about nutrition in India. So at that particular point, I used to write the nutrition data from, let's say, this National Family Health Survey. Okay. So that particular 4 or 5 nutrition data about stunting, wasting, obesity, overweight, I used to write that out, and that's all. I used to keep it very, very simple. I don't have any kind of fancy data with me. And simple general data was something which I was able to use at multiple points. So this was one thing. Second, I have a good command about my surrounding. So I used to write a lot of examples about Rajasthan, about Western Rajasthan, my hometown area. So I used to write things about Badmer, about Luni River, about Aravalli ranges, about the climate in this area. So I think that was something which was coming naturally to me. So that also helped a lot.
I think your examples many a times. I remember once you wrote the GS3 copy just after prelims. I suppose it was sometime in June, and it was GS3, and we evaluated it, uh, and like we thought that he has written really good. And then I asked, like, what did you like? How much did you study for it? And you said that you just sat and wrote the paper. So that
Yes.
shows that you were ready. Like you probably like you had your notes ready, and as you are saying that you were aware of every topic, and then you wrote on like general lines and the specific data. When you're making the notes, you already know that the data is needed, and when you think of some data is important, that stays in your mind. So I think your notes probably were already there in your mind after prelims, and those were sorted. So would you say that by the time you were writing mains of 2023 this year, did you have like specific notes ready before going for the first mock?
Before going for the first mock, yes, I think I had, because see, it's been 5 years,
Mhm.
so my notes were ready. But see, one thing which I also get a lot of query about, see, from where did you take notes? See, in my opinion, a person should make their own notes. It's Notes is something which is very personal to a aspirant. We cannot just copy notes of some other person and reproduce it out. So because these were the notes which I made myself, I was able to recollect it during the examination. So that was one thing.
Like moving on to GS2. GS2 is one subject where it has become very competitive, since there are a lot of compilations regarding um, the cases, Supreme Court cases you can write. Everybody knows that now, that you are supposed to write the articles, the commission reports, and everything. So how did you what do you think is more important to score well? Like, what has been your observation? How do you score well in GS2? Sources, I think most of the people know.
Mhm.
Mhm.
See, if I talk about GS2, I think my marks is not as much as I expected, because my GS2 was fabulous. I thought I will be scoring more than 120, 125 at least. I got 104. I wrote a lot of articles. I wrote a lot of Supreme Court judgments, because, again, as you are saying, that a lot of compilation is available now. So I try to write all those things. So still, I mean, I'm getting 104. I don't know why this came out to be. So I cannot give good advice onto this particular
But
area.
I think sometimes marks do not
Mhm.
tell the story, but the copies that you wrote, based on that, I can say that we were also expecting that you will be scoring among the top marks in GS2 and GS3 in particular. GS3 you scored well, but 92 is a really good score this year. Uh, we are also a little sad about, you could have scored probably 450 this year, but I think collectively scored more than 410.
Mhm.
So just what has been your observation? What clicks in GS4, the GS2? What has been your observation? I just want your
Mhm.
observation.
Sure. So there's one thing which I will like to point out here, that in GS2, basically there are three things: core quality, governance, and IR. IR is something which we get compilation. I think proper compilations are there, and IR is
Yeah.
very current affair based. So which we can handle out. Again, GS core area, the polity core area, that is also something which we can find out from the static books. I think governance is the part which many people are very confused about. I mean, they don't know what they have to write in that area. And what I realize is that governance is actually the easiest portion in whole GS2. I was very much comfortable with governance portion. The reason being, see, governance is all about development, all about good things which you can do. So what I used to do, I had few topics in my mind. For example, SHGs, cooperatives, pressure groups, role of people in democracy, uh, local area panchayats, and those things. And I used to sprinkle all these things in any governance kind of question, and sprinkle one or two core polity aspects, some one or two parliamentary or article based like governor or president based aspect into this. So when I used to club these things out and it is possible to do it in any question of governance, no matter what kind of question it is. So my idea was this thing: I will have all these things into my paper, into my answer. I will try to make it a uh, more bottom up approach kind of thing, where we can have more people who do the particular kind of development or particular kind of administration. This mindset I used to have with me, and that helped me in writing answers properly, and also I think it used to give a better impression to the checker also.
One question that is there in the minds of people, whoever is writing mains, uh, like, did you pick up Lakshmikant ever between prelims and mains, and as well as spectrum, or if you didn't touch it at the time, you already had notes?
uh, Lakshmikant, no. Between prelims and mains, no.
That's important.
Spectrum, yes, because my notes Spectrum, I think it has enough material for both prelims and mains.
Mhm.
So Spectrum I used to read, but no, not Lakshmikant.
So that's very important, because whoever, I have found this over the past years of my experience in UPSC, whoever is reading Lakshmikant between prelims and mains, some of it you can use probably.
Hmm.
I asked it the other day to Vinay Patil, who scored who's got 122 rank. So he also said that I probably saw it once in a while, but I had my notes. So if you probably are good in mains, then you have to be ready with your notes from Lakshmikant. You should not be reading it all. I'm going to GS3. I think your marks do not justice to the quality of answers that you used to write. Still, 92 is a good score, but what is needed in GS3? Just whatever opinion you have.
See, again, in GS3, I think there are two things which I will say. First is about the data and examples. See, data includes example, diagrams, and everything. So I might use data, but that doesn't mean core data. Example is also fine. So that is one thing which I used to do. Second, in GS3, see, the questions are will be about economy, about environment, about security. All of these things have a lot of problems, and we can always have a solution of it.
Mhm.
So what I try to do is that in the ending portion, in the last half page of my answer, I used to give some way forward, even if it is not being asked. My mindset was that I have to write some kind of a positive thing which can solve the problems. For
And
example, this year there was a question about this unemployment, that unemployment methodology has a problem. I think it was the 11th question of GS3. I remember this because I was very shocked about the question, so I did it in the last, but it was there. In the end, I provided some solutions that how can that methodology can be solved out.
Mhm.
Similarly, there was a question on floods or something, dam breaking. It was a question on breakage of the dam. Again, I provided some solution that how can we solve it out. So that mindset, I think, was might be something which examiner might have liked.
Regarding some of the questions in like some of the portions in GS3, so economy in general, the first few topics in the economy syllabus which are related to your prelims economy. So what did you have for that in terms of notes? So for example, budgeting and those topics.
See, because these were also with prelims, so I mean the normal NCRTs was something which I was following for that, the GDP and budgeting and all those things. I think 11th or 12th NCRT was fine for these all areas.
For science and technology, since security and economy is like given everywhere, science and technology, disaster management, and environment. What sources did
Hmm.
you?
See, disaster management and environment. Environment is something which I read a lot in geography optional. So I was very much prepared due to my optional area. Disaster management, what I realized is that there is one NDMA's file, and NDMA's National Disaster Management Plan 2019. In that NDMA, it's a very bulky, I think 400, 500 page PDF. But in that particular PDF, a lot of ideas are be given for every particular disaster, be it cyclone, be it heat waves. For every disaster, there are specific guidelines. And before that, there is a simple overview structure that what we should be thinking about. So I went through that NDMA file. It took me like 2 to 3 days to do that. But once I went through that, I realized that disaster management is nothing. I just need to have a framework in my mind. So that particular those 2 to 3 days were something which sorted out the disaster management for me. Then it came out to be science and technology. See, science and technology sources are not there in at least I was not able to find. I took a class for that, so there was on YouTube, on internet, I mean, I found some good institutes which are providing science and technology classes. So I took that because science and technology is something which I have to be very much prepared with current affairs. So, and it's easy to miss out science and technology things in Hindu and Indian express.
Can you just name the
So
institute? Because like
uh,
what
so so in forum I had this current affair classes. So
Mhm.
Dipin sir's current affair classes, so they provided science and technology very extensively,
We'll
so I
discuss
followed
like
that.
what places that you went to for
Hmm.
like your coaching, etc. That's very so we will discuss it discuss everything and what worked for you. That
Hmm.
can also be discussed. I would say the next question will be, since you talked about the NDMA PDF. So did you also go through the second ARC recommendations? Did you go through the files for governance, or like you, how do you do it?
So second ARC, no, I mean, I tried to go through that, but it was I think 3 to 4 years ago I tried to go through second ARC. It was very bulky. Then I realized that the second ARC recommendations are something which are already being given to us in some other way. I mean, the all the compilations which I'm reading, or all the notes which I'm reading, these notes have already incorporated those recommendations. So for that particular reason, I did not went through second ARC. I already had enough notes for that. See, in disaster management, I don't have proper sources. That's
Mm.
why I went into NDMA. But if I have already proper notes of proper sources of governance and quality, then I was not able to go through the second ARC.
Uh, okay. Moving on to GS4, I think GS4 is also something that was your strong area. You used to write like great different examples. Uh, like your examples used to be a little different from everybody else. So that probably like used to make your copy a little interesting to check and evaluate. So GS4, what source, code source, what was the code source? And what kind of examples, like from where did you add those examples that you wrote?
Right. So, see, in GS4, I think I should give the credit to Vajra. So,
Mhm.
my foundation happened in Vajra in 2018.
Mhm.
There were three teachers who used to teach ethics, and I think the work which they did was fabulous. So, my even today, my even if I have to give exam today, I think every in any other GS, any even in optional, my notes might have changed, but GS4 notes have not been changed. It's still core 2018 or 2019 foundation batch courses. So that is one thing. Second, again, what I realize is that in GS4 we need to write examples. Obviously, example is the only thing which is required in GS4, in my opinion. So again, there was a yellow book. So I went through the yellow book, and my aim was that I will just figure out who are these great scholars. For example, we have this. For example, we have Buddha, or we have Plato, we have philosopher King, we have that Nadzet. I'm not able to pronounce it.
Nishchit.
Yes. So yeah. So I used to write the names of these scholars, and some area. I mean, whatever their philosophy is, what it links to. So because now I have done this, I have like 50 to 60 such kind of examples. So I made that thing on my own, and I realized that where I can put it out,
So
and
that
just I used to pick one and put it.
So I remember like you writing Hobbesian social contract rather than just writing social contract, and basically you use those thinkers to make your argument more like
Right.
give it more weight. So it was the small yellow book that they provide of thinkers,
Yes, it was a very small yellow book, but
smallest.
it provided me a lot of examples.
Give it a lot of credit. So that's great. Uh, let's move on to like a few other things. Since we talked about GS, I just want to ask your process, because process is very important, of writing those tests regularly. Very like seldom do we find people who have written week by week. So writing those 15 odd tests between say November, October, and then between say March and April. So every week you were writing a full length or a mock, a 10 question mock or a full length mock. Uh, what was your process like? Is it difficult to write for you, or like it was very easy for you? How was it in the beginning?
So in the beginning, I think in 2021 I started writing. So 2019 and 20 I did not write anything. It was inertia all around those 2 years. In 21 I realized that if I'm not able to write, I won't be able to score anything. In 21 I started to write. Uh, See, what I realized is that this particular exam, when it comes to mains is 70 to 75% your writing skill, and only 20, 25%, 30% your knowledge. I have a lot of knowledge, but in those 250 words, I have to put it in those 250 words. And see, even if there is one question, it is not one question. It has two to three parts at least. So for each part, I will be getting what some 70 odd words. 70 odd words meaning some four to 5 points. So because of that particular thing, I knew that whatever I read, I won't be able to reproduce it in that particular given space and given time framework. So if you have better writing skills, then only you will be able to score. So this thing was clear in my mind. Then I made a commitment to myself that I will have, like, for example, this hours thing that I have to read like 8 to 9 hours every day. So again, there was another commitment that I will be writing 10 questions every day. I have to make this a daily. So I used to have a Google sheet. I used to write that, and on this particular date I had wrote this many questions. If someday I wrote only 2 questions, then other day I have to write 18 questions to make the make it average time. So because of that particular sheet, it used to drive me. So, and I used to think, okay, I'll complete this thing as first thing in my day.
So the
So at
target
8
was
a.m. I
writing
used to
10
do it.
questions every day. Was that the target?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
like for how many days did you do it?
Uh, Between prelims and mains, I did it basically.
So
So
that must have been a like
I
lot
so
many
I
questions.
wrote like some 900 to 1,000 question in that particular period. So my target was actually 1,400 question to 1,500 questions, but then it jumped out to me because
I
I
think
think there were
that's
105 days.
I think that's why like you were writing regularly in the test as well, and you must have written all the PYQs already. And when you were starting with mains preparation, so
See, it doesn't take much time because see, you have to write 20 question in 3 hours. So
mhm,
10 question meaning one and a half hour.
mhm.
And checking it again, so it will be what 2.5 to 3 hours. And trust me, it feels awesome after writing 10 questions. It feels like an achievement. You feel
It
like okay,
feels
you've
like
done
you don't
something.
want to study anymore.
It's
Technically,
right.
it feels like that.
And and that's why I mean I think Dipin sir gave this suggestion that if you're writing one test, then don't stop on one test, write two tests, because even if you write one test the whole day, you will be so joyous that you won't feel like doing anything. So it's
Yes.
better that you write two tests so that you really use that particular day.
I think that's a great insight. That's a great commitment you made. You had a Google sheet, so just like a techie, you did everything. So that's that's great. One more thing, I would like to ask you. I'm forgetting what I wanted to ask, but since you gave a very major point, so the thing that was I trying to ask was like, what form of notes did you have? So was it online, offline? How did you do it for the newspaper?
Offline notes.
Everything offline.
Offline notes. I just write everything out because see, again, I have to write in the exam,
Mhm.
so I used to write everything out.
And did you like were you on social media? So tell everybody regarding social media and well, like how many people were you in touch with? Did you close yourself in a room? How did it go the entire year? Like when you look back at it, probably after 20 years, 10 years, you'll be looking at this period when you worked really hard. It must have been a great.
Hmm. So no social media. I think my Facebook was deactivated. I installed Instagram after selection. So rather my friends
We'll
installed
put
it.
his Instagram in the comments.
Okay. And yes, I was in touch with my friends. That was the thing. Like 10, 20, 20 10, 20 people who are close to me. I was in touch with them. I was in touch with my family and my relatives, but nobody outside that. I only with the people whom I know properly. And then again, not on WhatsApp. I used to use Telegram because on Telegram a lot of information comes out. So WhatsApp I was totally deactivated. And yeah, that was the thing. No Facebook, only Telegram. Telegram was the only area which I used to be active on.
YouTube, how much of it?
YouTube I used to watch it a lot because see, I have to do some fun also.
Mhm.
So YouTube was some area I used to watch some, let's say, movie clips, some songs or
Any
stand-up comedy.
recommendations for everybody? Like what is something that you would recommend for some
So,
some
see, I used to like memes a lot. So 9gag is something which I will recommend.
okay.
But see, again, I remember that there was a time when I blocked 9gag in my browser
Mhm.
because I used to do a lot of I used to see a lot of memes out there. So I mean, that is something which I used to do a lot.
Memes is good. Memes like make you calm and happy and like in a very small time. So we have discussed everything about your social media to every GS paper, your resources. Uh, so just want to ask you one more thing. There are many people who come and say that they were not able to follow. So that must have been the case in 2020, 21, or probably some time in your journey. It must have been the case. Looking back, what would you advise when people say that they were not able to follow the newspaper for 15 days, 20 days? Now they are feeling lost. How to get back from a like a low period when you're not able to study? So was there a low period in this year or in previous years? How do you get back to studies after like because that is very difficult because you feel left out.
So I mean, there are two things, that one about backlog of newspaper of 20 30 days, and second is about backlog of study. So regarding newspaper, let's say if you are not able to read newspaper today, skip it out. It won't hurt you that a question will come from 30 April's newspaper only. That is wrong. Okay. So even if let's say you're not able to read newspaper for 70 80 odd days, don't worry, just start from the 81st day. You don't need to go to the previous newspapers. That is one thing. Second, about studies, see, it's very natural to have a break. So the solution out of it is that just make small targets, that the next day you have to give the night before the next day, you have to make up your mind that what you are going to study in the next day. And make a target that you will be studying for 8 to 9 hours. See, you might not feel like studying, or you might not feel like studying, and hence you won't be able to reach to your target. But if you are doing a sitting of 8 to 9 hours, in 2 to 3 days you will be back on track. And trust me, I mean, I had COVID. I remember it distinctly. In 2020 in 2021 April, I caught COVID. I was also hospitalized, and I mean, I lost some 15 to 20 days. And I was talking to my friends, talking to my family that, I feel like I don't know anything and all those things which you were saying. I'm totally lost. It took me maximum 2 to 3 days to get back on track. And I was shocked that, okay, I mean, how can I come back onto track in such a small time? But it's just in our head. You just get back onto the studying table. Within a day or two, you will be back on track.
Mhm. Uh, One more question coming out of that is, did you follow the magazines, monthly or yearly compilations, mains compilations, like the current affairs compilation? How much of it did you use? And particularly between prelims and mains, and just before prelims, did you use the yearly compilations of current affairs? It is the 365 or something else. How useful are they based on your observation? So anything on that?
Yes. So, see, in my initial years, I used to follow it religiously. Every monthly compilation, I used to follow. Then I realized that it's not going to work for me.
Mhm.
Then, I think since 2020 or 2021, I totally sorted it out. I don't even download now. I don't even buy it out. So what then changed is that now if there is some particular topic which I'm not comfortable into, then I will go into the monthly magazine and check it out. Or what I can do, if there is a monthly magazine coming up, I will just check the index. And if there is a topic which I feel is very different, which I don't know anything about, then I will check it out. Only that particular article. So I mean, if it's like 100 articles in that one monthly magazine, there might be 2 to 3 articles at max, which I might feel that these are very different. So because see, there's no point of having two sources of a single topic. Your particular notes are very good. If you're able to write that thing in exam, you will get very good marks. There's no need to write what is written in the monthly magazine. So for mains aspect, I used to do this thing. I just figure out a topic and then take the information. So before prelims, yes, I used to do this PT 365. That also only in science and technology, in environment and science and technology. I think these are the two areas. I used to think that I will also do it in economy, but then I realized that in prelims, economy is very basic. I mean, and in monthly magazines, economy comes out to be very advanced in my opinion. Something which is very specific. But in prelims, very simple questions are being asked. So again, economy PT, I used to do it initially, then I skipped it out. Only the science and technology and an environment PT 365 I used to do. Between prelims and mains, I think these monthly magazines I did not use to follow.
So
In that period, only my notes.
prelims and between prelims and mains, did you use the mains 365? That's one question.
No, I don't think. Might be somewhere if I feel that some particular topic is
You did
missing
watch
out,
the
then
index and see like if there is something very.
that also in a very rare chances. I mean, if I'm comfortable with my topic, then it's okay. For example, maybe with society sometimes. Let's say in society, I'll just go through the PT 365 index. That's all, but nothing more.
Regarding evaluations and model answers, like how much importance do you give to them of your mains answers?
I
Mhm.
see. To be honest, before I mean, I had this evaluation with you, the Super 50, right? So before that, I don't know, used to give any kind of importance to that. I used to feel that somebody of my own caliber is just checking these questions. So I mean, it's not that quality. Your evolutions were really good. So I used to feel that okay, there is something which, and I mean, I can see that there was a spelling mistake. I still remember that pristine. I wrote something like pristine nature, and pristine's spelling was mistake, and the person corrected it out. So I was like, okay, the person is reading every single word of my notes.
And your
So that
copies were read very, like whoever writes well, the thing with evaluations is whoever writes well, then we get interested in that person that, okay, let's see how much better can he write? Will he beat everybody in this test as well? So there was always a particular interest. I remember between prelims and mains, there was a daily answer writing series that we were doing, and there were like at least 5 people that we were very interested in them, and we used to evaluate their copies and give them back as quickly as possible. Like some of them made it, and some of them went to the interview, did not make it, but we still like remember it very carefully. So your copies, we did read it very really carefully. That was the case.
So yeah, because I used to also see this thing that copies being properly being evaluated. So yes, I used to, I mean, give a lot of weightage to that evaluation.
But like, did you like mention those evaluations somewhere so that you will add it the next time? Would you like, how would you use the evaluations to improve the next time?
See, majorly what used to happen is that if I am finding some problem while writing, then that particular evaluation I used to keep a mental note of it. See, in evaluation, you cannot give out information. I mean, information is something which is there in my notes. So in evaluation, they will say, okay, you don't need to write this particular thing here. You can write it at somewhere else. So these are some mental notes which I was making. Okay, that uh, I should not write way forward this much, or I should write this particular topic earlier than in the structuring area. I can do some tweaks. So these were the small things which I used to figure out, and I used to keep a mental note of it. Not was not writing these revolution at any place.
Do you give importance to model answers?
Less importance. See, again, because in model answer I just used to see what is the structure. Again, information is something which is, I mean, whatever information is written in model answer, that is correct, but whatever information is there in my own notes, that is also correct. So not much importance to that.
And basically you also Googled some of the things. Google is something very useful all the time, right?
Yes.
Yes. So I think
Google is bread and butter of UPSC in my
UPSC.
opinion.
And particularly for somebody sitting in their hometown, not like having a lot of people directly in touch. So for them, it's great. I want to discuss in detail geography, since geography has boomed this year, and that's your year. Geography was like taking everybody down with this optional, and you stuck with it. Did you ever think of like not like dropping geography optional and taking something else?
Yes, in my first attempt I did. I think in my second attempt I was very much confused. What should I fill? In second attempt, still I filled out geography, but I was still not comfortable with it. But then in my first attempt, I cleared prelims. I wrote mains, and I got geography marks to be 260s. I still remember it. At that point, 300 plus was something which we used to target. But in my particular preparation, 260 was quite good. Am
Okay.
I audible, right?
Yes.
So because of that particular thing, I stuck with geography. Then again, I got better marks in next means. So I can see that I was progressing in geography over the years.
So I was looking at a few more questions because now geography questions I'm going to ask you. I'm not a geography expert, but we did ask some of the people in our team. So they gave you some questions, and I'm going to ask them like in the way they asked me to. So paper one, regarding paper one, you scored more than 115 both the papers. You scored 312. So you are in a good place to give advice. So which paper did you give, like which part did you give more importance to in paper one, physical geography or the human geography?
Human geography.
Okay.
Always human geography.
And because it came naturally to you, or what was the reason?
No. I was very much comfortable with physical geography in my initial years. Let me tell you a very thing very frankly. Human geography is something which is totally underrated, and you won't find good human geography in any textbook. So in my initial years, I was very much comfortable with physical geography because there are a lot of textbooks which provide good data about it. Human geography is totally devastated. Then I did my foundation. I did my did some coaching with another institute, Guidance IS, to be
How was it?
specific.
How was the coaching?
It
Geography.
was very good. I mean, I did this 500 plus program of Himanshu sir. That was fabulous. So that particular program made me understand that human geography is much more easier than physical geography, much more scoring, and it's also very much interlinked. I mean, I can write human geography's concepts in physical geography and also in paper two. So it provided me an arsenal of a lot of data, arsenal of a lot of examples, and also it's been very easy. Also in human geography, the total number of questions which can be asked, that is less compared to physical geography. Physical geography is basically much more developed. So
Mhm.
because it is much more developed, so naturally questions will also be more in that area. So my focus was always on human geography.
Uh, so there is one question related to perspectives. This is something that has been
Hmm.
asked to us on the helpline all the time as well. Perspectives in human geography does not have like good sources. So from
Right.
where did you study it? Study it? Did you study R.D. Dixit? Make notes from it? How many times
Mhm.
do it? What was your source?
So, so I did bought this R.D. Dixit, and I think I read it for 2 days. I thought I should just burn the book out. Okay, it is totally.
I think
It's
whoever
not a
asked
good
this,
book.
like sent me this question, they were very frustrated with this book. That's why I said,
So
"Ki,
this
you study R.D. Dixit."
actually, I mean, I think a person who is not fearing this perspective will start to fear perspective after reading this book. So, I mean, it's not a good book. At least for me, it was not a good book. Okay. Uh, then again, I mean, this Imanshu sir's notes, that was life saving. Yeah. He provided, I think he provided some 300, 400 page booklet, pages, notes of it. But everything which he wrote there, that was very logical. And I was able to understand what is the perspective.
So there is one specific question regarding perspectives. So in some of the environment questions that are there, so did you
Mhm.
apply the perspectives knowledge that you have to enrich them?
Yes. So this is the good thing of this particular I mean of the guidance IAS also, because he made us he before teaching perspective, he told us that you can easily use the concepts of this area in any other area. And environment is something which is very much in news also, and it's a hot topic today, at least for the geography aspect. So there is like things like determinism, possibilism, man environment conflict, man environment relations. So these few words I used to write in some other areas also, and I think I have written it in paper two also, something linked with perspectives in paper one.
We'll come to paper two. How do you link it? PYQs, regarding PYQs, like did you write PYQs? And if you did, then how many years of PYQs did you cover? Did you write them? Did you brainstorm them? What did you do with the paper one PYQs?
I did not write them. I only brainstormed them. See, there's one. I mean, it's my own particular idea. I think if there is something which is came into PYQ, it won't come directly into the mains. So this mindset used to restrict me a lot in writing PYQ answers. So I used to write mains test series. In PYQs, I will only brainstorm. At max, I'll make a structure out of it.
So did you, like, how many years of PYQs did you go through? Like it was 2013 onwards, or like PYQs before that as well?
Yes, I have a PYQ compilation since 1990, I think. So what I did is that in areas, in topics which I'm not comfortable with. For example, in paper one, there is a topic about regional planning.
Mhm.
So I was not comfortable with that particular topic. So I checked all the PYQs from 1990. In geomorphology, I think it's the first topic of paper one. I was very comfortable with it. So I think I never even checked the PYQs in that area. So it's based on my own particular weakness and strengths.
And you brainstormed the questions that were there, and
Yes.
so regarding paper one, there is one query which is related to, did you write the case studies related to India, or the world case studies that you have are sufficient? Like, what is your opinion?
Just write any case study. But see, before that, I think, I mean, again, this is my own opinion. I think maps, case studies, diagrams, these are overrated. And I mean, before I remember, I saw one of the video in which it was said that you have to have one map on every page of geography. If not every page, then on every second page you should have a map or case study in these kind of things. So I got 271 marks in my third attempt in geography. I think the fourth ranker was also from geography. He got 285 marks. So it's not much difference.
It was a great score, I
In
think,
that,
that year. Yes, it was a great score.
uh, in that particular year, I don't think I have made more than 7 to 8 maps in entire geography. Okay,
Paper one and
so
two combined.
entire paper in 1 and 2, maybe 10 maps, okay, in entire geography. Okay. So even in this year, I think I have not made. See, there are questions. I can still remember there were questions in which I have not any map or any kind of case study. So it's not like you have to force in any map or case study. If it is naturally coming into the question, then you should make it. If it is not, then we should not. So that is one thing. Second, case study, just write any case study. I used to write case studies of India only because those I was able to remember better.
Mhm.
World case studies were bit what we can say bit confusing.
Using and not
So for me,
related.
huh.
Geomorphology, regarding geomorphology, it's very lengthy subject, people say. So
Hmm.
did you give, how much time did you give it in the beginning? And also between prelims and mains, how much time did you give to just geomorphology, that topic, that?
Uh, I think very less. In the beginning, I mean, before prelims, see, when I was doing my foundation, geomorphology took the most amount of time. Okay. But when I realized that okay, geomorphology is just one topic, and obviously it's very big, and that's what I was saying that in human geography there are very limited questions. In physical geography there is no dearth of questions. So I
Mhm.
realized this thing, and when it comes to geomorphology between prelims and mains, my aim was to do geomorphology in the end. And in the end, I knew that there will won't be much time, and I want that thing because I don't want to give more than 1 or 2 days to geomorphology.
Mhm.
Because if you start to do geomorphology properly, then it can take like 10-15 days.
So now there are some questions in the paper of 2023. So what did you write in them, and like a few specific questions that I have.
Mhm.
So whatever you remember based on your understanding, you can
Sure.
like, right. So there was a question 7B, which talks about how can sustainable land management harmonize the complementary goals of environmental, economic, and social opportunities. Discuss. Right. Remember the question? That's this 7B. So the question is, it's very subjective. Uh,
Mhm.
so how did you write it? What
I-
valuable
i-
points did you have?
Is it in paper one or paper two?
Paper one, I think paper one, it must be paper one.
Because it will have a lot of difference, a
So
lot
it's
of weightage.
paper one 7B.
Paper one 7B, and it's about how will environment is. Can you just repeat it?
Just I'll repeat. Sustainable land management. How can
Uh-huh.
sustainable land management harmonize the complementary goals of environmental, economic, and social opportunities? Three keywords.
Okay. See, I'm not sure if I have written this particular question because we
But
have
the
to
question
choose.
was, it's a very
But
subjective question. How do you basically
obviously, it's
add theory into it? How do you?
right. So it's just the few things which is coming into my mind. What I will be doing for sure. In the introduction, I will be writing something about perspectives.
Mhm.
So, for example, this determinism and so possibilism is one of the concepts which we read in perspectives. And possibilism is something which says that the nature or environment provides us a lot of possibilities, and those possibilities can feature into economic or social or environment aspects as it is written in the question. That is one thing. And in land management, I will link it with the environment, and so something like that I will try to figure. I will try to put something like that into it. Then see, it's 7B, so I will be getting 3 pages here. Okay,
Mhm.
250 words,
That was
and I
also one.
have
Sorry, to cut you short. There was also one question in 3 pager and a 2 pager and a 4 pager. How much space did you cover? So can you add that also along?
so because it is 3 pages, and now see, I don't have any proper. I mean, it's a subjective question. I don't have a ready-made answer for it.
Mhm.
But I know that there are three parts of it. That land management, I have to link it with social society, economy, and there's another thing here, right? So now my idea will be that I will first explain what is land management.
Mhm.
Initially, I had something about perspective. Then I will explain what is land management. Okay, and then I will try to link it with so how it provides us social opportunities. Maybe uh, land management can make a settlement, and settlement can have society into it. Land management can allow us to have cultural festivals and cultural things around us. I will give an example of, let's say, Hriday or Prasad scheme or Swadesh Darshan scheme. So it will provide social opportunities and also link with land management. See, this is the thing. I'm trying to link. I'm trying to think of examples even today.
Mhm.
So uh,
So it's
so
been
I
long.
think that is something which I have trained myself, I think.
Yes, yes. That's
Then it comes to, let's say, economy. Then land management, I will go into, let's say, agriculture, and I'll say if we manage the land, agricultural land properly, I will go into MSP systems or agroecological cropping system, which will provide us better economic opportunities. Then into food processing areas, which can give us land management there. If you provide land management, then now I'm trying to link it with physical geography, let's say. So if I properly manage the land, then I can reduce the disasters, which will ensure the sustainability of economy. So I can give example of, let's say, Kerala floods. I will write a case study here rather. So that in Kerala floods, land was not in Kerala floods, as per the Gadgil report. Gadgil report had properly stated that land management is not being done properly.
Mhm,
Economic sustainability was not there. I think some 20,000 crore was lost.
mhm.
So in this way, I mean, I will try to go forward. And then if I have space, I will have a way forward in which I will try to solve things that what we can do to ensure proper land management for sustainability.
I think like listening to your answer, it gives a feeling of GS answers as well. That you try and
Yes,
take as many dimensions as possible, and at the same time, your geography knowledge you had. So it's interesting
right.
to hear about geography. There was one more question related to gender justice in your paper one
Mhm,
was here. So it says,
mhm,
what is the relation between gender equity and human development? 6B it was. Provide a list of
mhm,
commonly used gender related indices. So the
mhm, mhm,
person who asked this question, how did you like use perspectives or the feministic geography if it is there? So how did you
mhm.
use the theory in this question?
Right. So when it comes to gender, again, perspective is something which will comes up. Welfareism and welfareism is something which I will write.
Mhm,
Okay, not feminist thing, but welfareism. I think I have written this particular question. I have wrote about welfareism here.
mhm,
Then see what I can do. I have to make this question geographical here. Okay, because again, if we see the same question can come in the in GS also,
mhm,
and it is also asking about indices. So what I will do, I will just pick out 4 5 indices about gender. Let's say sex ratio, nutrition aspect, the population. Sex ratio हो गया वहां पर, तो population भी वहां आ गया. There can be, let's say, think about migration of women, something like that. I will make 4 or 5 indices. Then my aim will be to make a map of every index. So if it is sex ratio, I will make a map of India. I will say, okay, sex ratio is poor in North India. It's better in South India. And then I will give reasons that how this thing is happening. Then I will go into nutrition. Again, poor in, let's say, Bihar and Bihar, West Bengal region. Better up in Kerala, Maharashtra area. Also, it is better in the Northeast area. So why it is better in Northeast area? So migration is happening. So migration happens from, let's say, rural area to urban area, or within rural area. So I will provide how this particular thing is happening. Again, I will make a map here. So in this particular question, I can see a lot of maps are coming up. So 4 or 5 maps I will draw, and for every index I will try to make a map and show why this particular thing is happening. And so this will provide both a geographical dimension to the question and knowledge which I'm writing, that is GS knowledge.
right, right. There was one question 1B which talks about ocean ranching. It was a compulsory question this year. It says,
Mm-hmm.
what is ocean ranching? How are aqua cowboys related to such activities? So the question was, nobody teaches it, and like it's not
Mm-hmm.
also it's not there in your sources. So
Mm-hmm.
how do you deal with this one, and how do you deal with such questions in general?
See, nobody knows it, so nobody is going to go get good marks in it. So
Mhm,
no need to worry about it. First thing is that. So obviously, this will be one of the last question which I will be writing,
mhm,
as I have no idea about it. No, now about the ocean ranching. So it is something which is, I mean, my common sense says that ocean ranching is something it will be linked with marine fishing, right?
mhm,
Fishing or in those all areas, and aqua cowboys will be fishermen, maybe something like that. It would be something which a term which is given to them. But
mhm,
then these fishermen might be taking up some different kind of techniques, something like bottom trawling technique, or
mhm,
using better fish nets or something like that, which might be giving this term to them. So on this particular background, I'll be trying to write answers. Now, see, I don't have much idea about it, right? What I can do is I can add some geographical ideas into it. For example, I will make a map of whole world, and I will mark out those areas in which a lot of fishing happens, and I will write these are the areas where aqua ranch, ocean ranching is happening. For example, in the area of Japan, in the Malaya Peninsula region, in the North Bank area. Okay, these are the areas where fishing happens a lot. So I will say these are the areas where this is happening. Then I can also write something about, let's say, something currently happening. For example, I remember this meeting of UN with the marine aspects that
Sustainable fishing. Uh,
yes,
the
something
document.
like that happened recently, right? So I wrote about that also. So to give a current perspective, see, I don't have much information about it, so I'm trying to find some pointers and write in it.
Okay.
So uh, then I can also write about, let's say, this aqua ranching, and it can also lead to some kind of disputes, geopolitical aspects, because geopolitical things are also in our syllabus. For example, I will give an example of Indian fishermen being caught by Sri Lanka or Pakistan. So as a problem of this aqua ranching or ocean ranching, or as a problem of aqua cowboys, I will also provide an environmental perspective that a lot of bottom trawling is happening, which is leading to coral, which is destroying the marine biology and coral reefs and those things. I think if I write this much, 150 words will be over.
Right. It's already like a lot more than 150 words. Uh, Question 3C. So geography is a very technical subject. Um, Before like looking at the PYQs, I could not make it out that way. Like, and geography was a very broad subject that I knew. It
Mhm.
covers everything under that. So there is biogeography. So I
Mhm.
didn't hear about it. That's really interesting. A
Mhm.
question on ecological changes. 3C says, what are the factors affecting regional ecological changes? How do these affect human health? So how do you
Mhm.
do biogeography? And how do you deal with such questions?
Right. So, dealing with biogeography, I think I still remember that biogeography was one of my weak portion.
Mhm.
Again, after the guidance I and notes, I realized that biogeography is nothing. It's very simple thing. We just tend to complicate it out. Now, see, the question is that how regional changes are affecting biogeography in some sense, right?
Ecological
So
changes.
how ecological changes are affecting the biogeography. So what are the ecological changes which can happen? Ecological changes can be via plate tectonics in a region, or it can be via, let's say, some kind of climate change, or some kind of invasion, or humans can do ecological change via, let's say, deforestation, or some kind of, let's say, disease coming out of humans, like Zika virus or something, or COVID is something like that. So I will first factor out some kind of things which can affect a region. Second thing would be about every factor. Let's say it's about plate tectonics. I will write a paragraph, and I'll try to ensure that I can add something geographical in. For example, I'll make a diagram of India moving from Antarctica to Asia. It's a very simple diagram. I think everybody have seen this in NCRTs, and I will say how Indian biogeography changed because of it. Or I can also write about, let's say, yes, this cheetah coming from Namibia to our Madhya Pradesh. It will also start to change the biogeography in that particular area. So this can be that invasion factor which I was thinking about. So in this way, I will try to ensure that it's 250 words and it has two parts. So I'll try to ensure that one and a half part is done, one and a half page is done. The second page is how it is affecting the human health. The human health किस चीज से होगा affect? It can affect via, let's say, food. It can affect via viruses. It can affect the whole food chain and tropical energy systems. That can also affect humans. So उन दो तीन चीजों को लेके I'll try to add a human health aspect in it also. Again, some kind of examples in it.
All right. So GS paper, like optional paper one, we already covered. Let's talk about optional paper two. There are more questions related to this one. There was no
Hmm.
question related to physical geography. I suppose it's already very much there, like all the knowledge that is needed. So the first question, obviously, that is related to generally the paper twos of PSIR, geography, sociology, etc. So it's general stuff. Paper two is just general things. It's just like GS. So, uh, like how do you incorporate your paper one knowledge and your geography knowledge, perspectives knowledge, theorist, etc. in paper two? Yeah, just general like knowledge that what would you try to say about?
See, obviously it's a very subjective thing to, and it's not easy to say pinpoint one thing that this is how you'll be able to do it, right?
But what is your general
So,
advice? Can you just give some?
huh.
Mhm.
So my idea is that, I mean, if I give an advice here,
Mhm.
I think it should be in a person's mindset. So
Mhm.
when I'm writing paper two, if it is in my mind that I have to link it, I have to link it somehow, then I will be able to link it out. And I don't need to link every particular argument which I'm writing in paper two with paper one. Even in introduction or in conclusion, somewhere if I can link it, then it's my job is done. So the thing was that it's in my mind that I have to link it. So in somewhere or other, it used to get executed.
So, like let's go to specific questions. Uh,
Mhm.
which unit did you give more importance to? There are like I suppose several units related to population and so on. So,
Mhm.
which unit did you give more importance to, and like what? How much weightage did you give to PYQs? That's the next question.
Right. So the units again here, the general idea is that I'm giving less importance to physical, more importance to the human geography aspect. Basically, you can say that the unit like 7, 8, 9, 10, I'm giving more importance to 7, 8, 9, 10 than 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Okay. So on a general idea, because see, the later units have less amount of subtopics in it, and also later units are easier, and UPSC has to give equal weightage to every topic.
Mhm.
So why not have a strong suit on those areas, right? So that is one thing. About the PYQs, see, I used to find paper too tough initially. So at that one point, I used to think that what kind of questions can come out of it. So I went through PYQs of paper two a lot. Again, only brainstorming, and my main aim was to get comfortable with the PYQs. That okay, this is the type of questions which are being asked in paper two. So once that thing is in my mind, I was very comfortable with paper two.
One important question I would say, current affairs, how did you edit? Did you read down to earth, which is like which is said that it's very important. Did you read
Mhm.
it regularly? Did you make notes out of it? So how did you tackle the current affairs part?
I never read any noun to an article.
Okay, that's great.
So I mean, it might have come into my knowledge one or two times, but never gone to down to a website and read any article from it. About the current affair, again, see, when it comes to geography, I was not much concerned about current affairs. So I just told myself that if something from current affair would be getting incorporated in geography, then I will be able to do that. I was trusting my own knowledge onto it, but I never specifically tried to add current affairs into geography.
So it was just like the newspaper knowledge that you are having or
Yeah,
the
right.
examples that you're coming up with.
Right. See, this question of ocean ranching you just asked.
Mhm.
So this UN thing was in my mind. So it
Mhm.
just popped out. I mean, I cannot think how it popped out in my mind. But because I was reading about the oceans, so current affair came out.
Mhm. It's also basically when you do a lot of brainstorming, whenever a question is asked to you, so that brainstorming comes handy all the time. Mapping regarding mapping. So in 2023, uh, how many out of 10 did you make correct? Or also in 2022, if you remember, in 2021, sorry.
Mhm. So see, mapping was one of my weak suit
Mhm.
in geography. Okay. So even in prelims, I'm not that good with mapping. So in 2021, I don't think there were much right questions. I think maybe 5 or 6 at max. In 2023, I think 9 to 10. I did 9 to 10 properly.
Did
I
you
think
remember Ramagund?
nine.
One topic, one like did you
Yes, this was the only one. Ramagunda. I think that was in Telangana, right?
tell?
Uh, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh area. So this was the one area which I was not remembering. That's
Oh,
why I'm saying 9.
so
But again, from the name of it, I was thinking it will be in somewhere that area. But let me tell you that mapping this year was easy.
Mhm.
So I think it was the benefit with geography optional people were getting. So mapping was easy this year.
So even I was looking at the paper and your maps. So those were like pretty general. Probably you
Right.
add some more information into it, but it was not very difficult. So history also has
Mhm.
mapping, which is my option. So
Mhm.
so I understand like mapping is very important, but like this was easy. And probably that can be one reason why like paper two has also done really well this year.
Right.
So would you say, like since we are talking about it, would you say that compared to 2021 and 22, 2023 was easy, the paper was easy, or like
No,
how
no,
did
I
it?
don't think paper was easy. Mapping was easy, yes.
Mapping.
That is something which I can say, but not paper. Paper, I
And
think 2021 and 23 were of similar level.
and marks are comparatively great. Like looking at the number of people who are scoring more than 300,
Uh-huh.
it's
Hmm.
increased. Like it used to be more than 280, has become 300 now. 20 marks at least people have gotten uh, a benefit of.
Rather, how I see it is that in 2021, the marks were decreased.
Okay.
In 2023, the marks are now, I think, on back on the normal level.
Normal level. They would decrease. So it was scaled down. That is for sure depend like looking at the data. The number of people who are in the top, say 500 ranks, they have
Mhm.
definitely increased tremendously in geography this year. And so that's great. Uh, so one question, it can also be related to your GS. How do you break a question? So they say that in GS2, in your in your
Mhm.
geography two,
Mhm.
some of the people use schemes a lot in the conclusions. So did you use schemes? Like how did you write the conclusions? How did you break the question in geography?
See, breaking the question is something which how I do it in GS. The same thing I'm trying to do it in geography. So, I mean, if you can give a question, then I can show how I'm breaking it out. But it's a very normal thing. I mean, there's
Okay.
nothing which nothing technique which I'm using reusing.
So I think in the next
And
question, based on like in that question, you will be able to see, right?
right.
So there was a question on Indian observation satellite. It was the question
Mhm.
C, I think. One B, one C. Examine the role of
Mhm.
Indian Earth observation satellite technology in enhancing weather forecasting and disaster management. So the
Mhm.
question is, okay, how do you break it? And secondly,
Mhm.
uh, so do you use the theory of Haggerstand, who talks about like technology compressing time and space, or would you add some?
Right.
So
Would I add some?
would you add this or anything else from the theory on this
Right.
question? Examine the role of Earth observation satellite technology enhancing weather forecasting and disaster management. How would you break it?
Mhm.
So on.
C, right. So because it is one C, I have only 150 words. So I won't be giving much space to introduction and conclusion here.
Mhm.
So because it is Earth observation satellite, and there are two things which has been written: weather forecasting, and there was one more, disaster
Disaster
management,
management.
right? So these two will be my focus areas. So I will write simple introduction.
Mhm.
Okay. If I can write about Hagerstand, that's brilliant. Uh, I mean, whosoever can write about it, that's very good. First thing would be that writing about how it is focusing on how it is helping in weather forecasting. So I can write a case study here. So let's say when Kedarnath floods came out, so these Earth observation satellites were providing the data about how it is going to happen, how it is going to happen ahead. I mean, it's a very general thing. We can write about anything, Delhi floods or Chennai floods or something like that. Or when heat waves are coming into, let's say, Rajasthan area, so the Earth observation satellites will help. These are simple examples which I'm trying to show. Then it is coming out about disaster management, right? So again, right. So there is disaster management. So these example can be written in disaster management in a better way, right? So again, how these are aiding in disaster management, these will be things. See, in disaster management, as I was saying in the NDMA thing, like that in NDMA there are few topics which are a few general points which have been provided how you should think about. These are like understanding the risk, structural solutions, non-structural solutions, the climate change aspects, and those things. So I will try to write about these NDMA things and then link it with the Earth observation satellite. That how Earth observation satellite can help in understanding the risk, how it can aid in structural solutions. See, Earth observation satellite can provide us the area where I can plant a forest, where I can do a plantation, which is a non-structural solution. Or it can provide us the land where I can make, let's say, some kind of sea wall. Sea wall will aid us in uh, countering, let's say, tidal waves or some tsunami waves. So in this way I can link it out, and because I'm doing this I can just write an example. In Mumbai we have a sea wall which is helped by which has been figured out by, let's say, this earth observation satellites, or we are doing plantation, let's say, in the Uttarakhand region or in Joshimath region now. So that is being aided by Earth observation satellites. So these kind of examples, these are specific examples. Geography people like these things. And in the conclusion, then I can write some maybe initiatives, or maybe I can write how we can improve it, improve these Earth observation satellites. I can write about, let's say, because it is a technology question, now I'm going full GS. I can write about supercomputers. Param supercomputer can help, or AI can help in this area. So some kind of recent developments which have been happening, and I can end with what we say environmentalism and technocratism. I think this kind of term is there in perspective. So I can write these kind of terms in the conclusion, which can again provide a geography tinge to the answer.
I think we've discussed like your optional, we've discussed your GS, and through these questions, probably a lot of people would have like gleaned through your mind. How does somebody who has scored well, they think about questions,
Mm.
and for everybody to know, like mains happened long back, and like the interviews also took place long back. So
Mm.
it's just the muscle memory that he is having, and he's trying to
Mhm.
break it down. So probably if you reach this level for a beginner, I would say, so then I think
Mhm.
it's good to go for geography, and good to go for GS as well. I think you were helped really well with like
Mhm.
giving your thoughts out. Um,
Mhm.
आपका अभी आपका सिलेक्शन हो गया है, आप फील्ड में जाने वाले हो, तो वी विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट कि आप जिस आइडियलिज्म के साथ में जो आपने अभी तक क्लैरिटी के साथ में चीजें करी हैं, तो वैसे ही आप आगे करते रहें। अ, आपकी क्या रिकमेंडेशन, आपकी तरफ से कुछ बोलना हो आपको, क्या रिकमेंडेशन आपकी रहेगी कि कोई यूपीएससी की तैयारी कर रहा है, खास करके आपके खुद के एरिया से निकले हुए जो लोग हैं, या जो इस तरह के लोग हैं जो
Mhm.
छोटे शहरों में रह के घर से तैयारी कर रहे हैं, उनके लिए
Mhm.
आप क्या बोलना चाहेंगे, क्या रिकमेंड करेंगे, और कुछ कुछ जो एंड में आप बोलना चाहें।
सी कुछ कुछ चीजें तो ये रहेगी कि जैसे मैंने स्टार्टिंग में भी बोला कि वो एक 18 घंटे वाला जो था, एक चीज जो मेरे को काफी डर लगता था। देखो, पढ़ाई जो है वो पढ़ाई एक तरफ होती है और फन एक तरफ होता है, एंड यू हैव टू बैलेंस दिस बोथ थिंग्स आउट। सो व्हेन यू आर इनटू दिस यूपीएससी एग्जामिनेशन, आप इज्जत से 10 घंटा या 8 घंटे, देखो 8 घंटे की तो हमारी जॉब भी होती है ना, 9 to 5 जॉब भी होती है 8 घंटे की तो। सो 8-9 घंटा अगर आप पढ़ाई कर रहे हो, देन गिव लाइक 2-3 आवर्स टू योर फ्रेंड्स एंड फैमिली। सो उसमें आप फन कर सकते हो, अगर वो करोगे तो आपका वो मतलब ईयर अच्छे से निकलेगा, 1-2 साल आप इजीली निकाल सकते हो। दैट इज वन थिंग। सेकेंड, इफ यू मीट मी बिफोर दिस पर्टिकुलर रिजल्ट, यू विल नेवर बी एबल टू से कि हाँ भाई मैं यूपीएससी कर रहा हूँ, या मैं कि मेरा सिलेक्शन हो रहा है या ऐसा चीज। तो व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से इज दैट एवरीवन हु इज देयर, वी आर ऑल वेरी सिमिलर। सो ऐसा नहीं है कि यूपीएससी अगर आपको क्लियर करना है तो आपको कोई एकदम जीनियस बंदा बनना पड़ेगा, वैसा बिल्कुल नहीं है। बहुत ही नॉर्मल से लोग होते हैं यहाँ पर, वही लोग क्लियर करते हैं। सो खुद कभी ऐसा नहीं आना चाहिए कि ये चीज मेरे बस की है नहीं, जो काफी लोग सोचते हैं। एंड थर्ड थिंग इज अबाउट पेशेंस। सर मैंने भी 5 अटेम्प्ट दिए हैं, सो इट कम्स आउट टू बी। सो अगर मैं हो सकता है 30 अटेम्प्ट में छोड़ देता तो शायद यहाँ नहीं पहुंचता। तो पेशेंस होना एक जरूरी है, और पेशेंस के लिए अगेन आपकी फैमिली एंड फ्रेंड्स का सपोर्ट होना भी जरूरी है। तो वो 2-3 चीजें हैं जो ध्यान में रखें। आई थिंक काफी इंप्रूव होगा उससे।
आई थिंक काफी अच्छी बातें करी हमने, काफी सब्जेक्ट से रिलेटेड करी, और काफी दिनों बाद आपने करी होगी शायद। कि आप भी अभी सिलेक्शन के बाद में यू मस्ट हैव बीन लाइक एंजॉयिंग विद योर फैमिली एंड फ्रेंड्स। So Vijay, thank you so much. I hope that you also like provide some of your resources, will share your copies, and
यस।
optional as well, particularly since there are not a lot of toppers who are sharing the resources. So I would really request you to do the same. And thank
श्योर।
you so much. And we'll keep in touch, right? Okay. Thank
श्योर।
you.
ओके, श्योर।